What's up, everybody? The Endboss here with a quick guide to group and solo Cleric play, recently updated to include the stat changes in Ice Map Edition. Going through, of course, first things first, we're going to check on the perks. Standard pickup with Advanced Healer, almost absolutely the most important perk you can run with your Cleric because it's basically like adding an additional heal charge to your spells because of the potency of magical healing currently. Secondarily, I like to stack Perseverance with Protection from Evil. These coupled together reduce Warlock dots, Rogue poisons, bleeds, and otherwise effects down to a nuisance at best, as well as the Ice monsters providing the stacking debuff. Between their attacks now, with this, you actually won't be able to get stacked unless you're fighting 2 or more. Now, fourth perk, of course, being Blunt Weapon Mastery to couple with our Morningstar or Flanged Mace, pretty much anything that you're going to be using in melee. Now, running Smite in this setup is pretty paramount, and we're going to get to exactly why in just a bit as we go through the perks. I tend to run with a physical damage composition, so Smite's effectiveness is out the roof. If anybody tries to engage us in single combat, they are going to lose. Smite also functions as a kind of posturing thing where, let's say you're running with 2 squishies and you've got a rogue coming down the hallway, popping off, you make sure you slap out your Smite. Just the existence of your glowing mace will cause your opponent's hearts to tremble in fear. So that'll give you a little bit more extra time for your guys to slap out a heal, keep each other topped off, and generally prepare for the secondary fight on its way. Running through your existing spell setup, Lesser Heal is kind of your I'm in trouble button. Don't use all of your charges on Lesser Heal on your teammates. Let them bandage, roll potions the entire fight. Secondarily, this is the most important thing that you have, as it is a quick self-heal, and when you need to, that's all you've got. Sanctuary is great because of the healing group potential. I use this in replacement of Holy Light because think about Holy Light as a 50 health heal with 3 charges total. That's 150 health restored at the most. Sanctuary, however, can restore, on a bad day with terrible gear, you'll get 50 health out of those charges, and that's per party member as well as a self-heal. So that's 150 health per charge. That means you're going to get out double the healing throughput on a good day between the 2 spells. Protection lost a lot of oomph with the recent changes to stacking protection potions and protection spell not working. So you are able to make some changes out, I think, with protection if you're running, say, a gold-geared squad. However, protection is still very effective during fights as a sort of quick buffer shield. This doesn't mean that you use it as a heal, but it is a preventative 20 damage dealt, taken, or otherwise sent off into a target. Let's say a stray arrow, anything. You can still use protection as kind of an oh crap button. Now, the reason we run Holy Strike is pretty obvious. It was recently buffed. The damage on it is very, very nice. It gives us more range than our little T-Rex arms can handle. It lets us support our teammates without getting into the fray and risking our precious resurrection or otherwise spells. Holy Strike is almost a must-take. The blind on it can also not be underused. It's something that puts an enemy fighter or ranger into an awkward situation. They can't see, and they're already chunked for a decent amount of health because most players aren't running that high MR, and there isn't enough MR in the game for them. Last but most certainly not least, I tend to run with, say, rangers, fighters, rogues. Now, Divine Strike is a very interesting beast because it actually does more than it states here on the ability. Now, it will add 5 weapon damage. For example, a base kit cleric usually receives about 9 total physical damage dealt with the additional calculations from physical power and otherwise. But on a rogue, this also acts as plus 5 additional physical damage, so it will scale into their rupture damage and the bleed, which is insane just to think about the power of Divine Strike. It also really powers up classes like a ranger that's running recurve or a survival bow or a slayer fighter. Anything that attacks fast gets a massive buff from Divine Strike. Now, going through, of course, on your stat priority, don't look at my stash. I tend to say that your best baseline is going to be picking up 30 will and 30 knowledge. That'll get you your base spells as well as get you a little bit of casting speed and some magical power out of it, with the buff duration increasing pretty significantly as well. The other parts of the setup that I like to do is I'll put together 20 agi, 20 dexterity, 20 vigor, 20 strength. So you're looking at kind of a stat line is everything is at 20, and then you got your will and your knowledge at 30. Resourcefulness, if you have any stats with that, well, it exists. You can see this echoed in some of my gear. I'm pretty much looking for anything that adds major main stats. We have quite a high stat line right now. Don't try and reach this. This is kind of my Sunday best, so to speak. But that's the general guide for Cleric. Make sure if you did enjoy this, if you have any questions, please comment. I read every single comment that you post, or you can just come straight to my Twitch channel and ask me live. I tend to stream 7 days a week and for way too long. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I hope this answers any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.